What's up guys, Nax Tech here, and we're all here today to see the new features of Android Jelly Bean 4.2. That's right, I did say Jelly Bean, and that should tell you that this isn't a major update. This isn't going to be a major UI overhaul. This is a point update. It's from Android 4.1 to 4.2. Now that doesn't mean there's literally nothing to talk about. There's actually lots to talk about. Google really added a lot of stuff for a point update, which I'm quite happy about. And the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is the lock screen changes. So if we turn off the phone here and go ahead and hit up the lock screen, right now it looks exactly the same, but the use is going to be completely different from here on in. So basically on the old Android version 4.1, you used to swipe right to unlock, up to Google Now, and left to camera. That's all changed. Basically you can unlock anywhere in this ring now. So you can unlock left, forward, up or down. So if I go ahead and unlock there. To access Google Now, it's these dots at the bottom you can see here. You hold it and pull it up, and Google Now will unlock into the screen. Now, the big change, which I'm really glad they actually added, is the, well, firstly, let me talk about how to access the camera. To access the camera, you have to pull from the right. Now, you can't just do this in the middle. It won't work. You can see it is recognizing my touch, so it's not a response issue. You just need to pull from the right, I guess, just to kind of, make it more accurate and stuff. And if you pull from the right, you'll get straight into your camera and you can go ahead and take the snaps as easy as that. Now, the big difference and the big change and, the big deal with the lock screen is if you pull from the left, that's right, you get lock screen widgets. And this is one that I've actually added myself beforehand. You see you can hold to delete, and actually the first page itself is actually a widget which you can hold to delete, so you don't have to actually have that there, which is really nice. So what you'll be greeted with is a plus. So if you press the plus, you can see the stock apps here: calendar, digital clock, Gmail, messaging, and these two underneath here are a third-party app. So they've made it so developers can tap in and add widgets to the lock screen, which is really nice. So if I go ahead and add this one, you just tap it, it'll add. You can actually resize it. I don't know if all widgets can be resized, but this one can. I think you can go back up. Yeah, there you go. So you can resize it, make it bigger. Really nice to have. So if you go to the lock screen there, swipe that way, you can really access your files quickly. You can go ahead and add more. You can add your Gmail. Of course, I don't know if you'd want to add stuff that's really private, because obviously people on your lock screen, when they get to it, for example here, can go ahead, swipe, and they'll be able to see the first few messages. Now, if you do actually have a lock screen pin, when you go ahead and tap it, it won't just open, it will go into your lock screen, but they will obviously be able to read the first few lines. So be aware of that. Some people don't like the new lock screen. I am actually quite a fan. I like having lock screen widgets. It's kind of nice. So, right, let's move on to number 2. And this is the gesture typing. Now, what I mean by that is, so this looks like a pretty standard keyboard for Android Jelly Bean, right? It is. It is pretty much exactly the same, except for this one thing. If you go ahead and start swiping, if you go ahead and start swiping, you'll see that it swipes. So it's exactly like swipe works, and it actually predicts the word as you're typing. So if I go ahead and write a sentence, you can see how it works. So it's not perfect, as you can see. I don't think it's quite as accurate as swipe, but then it is a new feature, and it is nice to have in the core OS of Android. It's much quicker to type with the gestures, and if you get used to it, it's really nice. So I'm kind of glad they added that, and I'm sure it'll just go ahead and get better and better. Now, obviously, another big feature that they've kind of redone, well, not really redone, but made some changes to, is the notification drawer again. So you can go ahead and bring this down. You've got your expandable notifications that they've now allowed you to do with one finger instead of two. You can put it down and put it back up. But they've also added a button in the top right hand corner, you can see there, and if you hit it, finally Android has quick settings. People like Samsung and all that have done this for ages, but now it's in the core OS of Android. You get your quick settings, so you can go ahead and hit brightness and you get your brightness. And when I say quick settings, some of them are kind of shortcuts. If you go ahead and hit the Wi-Fi, you expect it to turn off the Wi-Fi, but it doesn't. It just brings you to the Wi-Fi panel and you go ahead and turn it off. But it's still a nice feature. Now, you don't have to actually push that button to get to it. One finger down on here will bring up your notifications, and a 2-finger gesture will bring up your quick settings. So that actually works really well. You know, sometimes it's hit and miss. Sometimes you'll hit it and it won't bring it down, but most of the time it will. You can see the differences here. Every time I've got it pretty much spot on. There hasn't been a mistake yet. And so that works really, really well. And, you know, it's really nice to have. Now, with the Nexus 4, if I dive into the settings here, you actually get wireless display and it's mirrorcast. However, it does work on the Nexus 4, but you can't actually test it. The reason being there's no certified devices that actually work with mirrorcast yet. I thought my TV might be because it's an LG TV and it's kind of a new one. But no, it doesn't. It just doesn't see it. It doesn't work. But it's kind of nice that it's built into the OS now. You know, one day you'll just be able to hit this on button and bam, your screen will be on your TV and you can show it off and play games, and it'd be really, really nice feature to have. So that's mirrorcast they've added to Android 4.2 internally. Now, I think that's just on the Nexus 4. I don't believe that's on the Nexus 10. So your hardware has to support it. And I believe the Nexus 10 at the moment apparently does not. So keep in mind in that. The clock, as you can see here, the clock looks slightly different and the app has actually changed and it's nice. So if we go ahead and tap into the clock here, you can see it's just a normal clock, and the old Android version was just a clock. Now, if you swipe to the left, you get a timer which you can set, which is kind of nice, you know, makes the OS look a whole lot more refined and professional. And if you swipe to the right, you get yourself a stopwatch, which looks really nice. You know, it's nice settings, simple, but it works. And it's nice to have. And you can see there the notifications with the reset and start in your notification panel. I'm going to go ahead and swipe that away. That all still works. Another feature Google decided to implement, if I go ahead and go into display here, is Daydream. Now, Daydream is basically like a screensaver thing. It's just a nice little gimmicky thing. You know, it's not really a big deal. So you can see it toggles on and off here. You can choose what to have. I've currently got a photo frame. If you go into settings, you can pick the photos on your camera, screenshots, or your instant upload stuff. And if you hit here, when to Daydream, it goes while docked, while charging, or either. So if you hit while charging, if it's plugged in, basically the screen will stay on and the pictures will fling across the screen. I don't believe I will do it now. So you can see I haven't got many pictures on here. I think I've just got a few. But they will just flick across and do their thing. In fact, I might only have one. Let me go ahead and choose my instant uploads because I do actually have instant uploads. You can see it takes a bit longer now because it has to get in the pictures from the network. And there you go, and the pictures start to come across that are uploaded to your Google thing. So it's basically just a screensaver. It's a nice little addition, but it's not a big deal. I mean, don't go ahead and write home about it, but it is there. Now, with a big thing with Android 4.1 was Project Butter, and even though they haven't said it in the settings or anything like that, or in their speeches, everything, I mean everything, is locked at 60 frames per second on Android 4.2. It is a breeze to use. It is absolutely, it's just an absolute train with speed. It is unbelievable. And if I go ahead and show you the multitasking here, what you'll see is a kind of new animation where it zooms in and out. I think it's more pronounced than it used to be. You can see there, it's really, really, really nice, actually. You can see it keeps everything in memory nice and easily because this has obviously got 2 GB of RAM. But that's a really nice feature from, or a nice little change from Google. The whole OS is looking a lot more polished than what it used to be. And it's a big deal. So let's go ahead and see. You'll see that the camera app is actually different. So if I go ahead and click into the camera app, it's completely changed. You no longer have those clunky settings on the left or right. Now you have to hold down and you get this little sphere, which is very similar to the quick settings in the browser. You can go up and hit up HDR, which is a new thing on Android anyway, or core Android, I should say. That ring is also a focus ring, so if you tap around it will focus on that ring. You can go ahead and switch camera here. We'll switch it back. There's all these settings, you know, the white balance. You can go ahead into settings and choose the store location, scene mode, and picture size. Here you've got Photosphere, which I'll talk about in a second, panorama, video, and camera. And up here is just that settings. So yeah, you can go into Photosphere by hitting that button on the bottom right and clicking the Photosphere button, and you can basically take 360-degree shots by going all the way around and following that little blue light that tells you when to take the picture. Now, I've actually done one already in preparation, and you can see here it just looks like an absolute mess, right? If you go ahead and click the if you go ahead and click the Photosphere button at the bottom here, it does something really cool and puts it into a nice little animation that you can zoom through and scroll through, and look how big this picture is. You can go all the way around. So I was standing in the middle here. You can see where I was standing, which is where this black dot is. And you can get the whole picture round. Now, it's not perfect. You can see here, there is some inconsistencies, but it's pretty damn good. I won't lie. I mean, you can see there a bit of inconsistency. It's better when things are still than when things are moving. Let me just zoom in a bit for you here so you can see that a bit better. You can really just pan around and you get a full 360-degree view, which is really, I think it's really awesome. There's been some really cool ones online that people have put up of, you know, epic places. But it's really clear. It's really quick to actually stitch together. It does everything really, really nicely. This is a really cool feature, Photosphere. 360 degrees, really nice. Now, another new thing with the camera, if I go back to here, is the effects. Now, if you see here, there's the effects button in the bottom left, which you can go ahead and click. And basically, it gives you all the Instagram-y filters you want, and you can add stuff. And it's kind of a big deal, actually. They've added loads more professional kind of things: straighten, crop, rotate, mirror. You know, you can change your exposure. You get a little thing here that you can, there's loads. You can literally change everything about the picture you want. You can apply some more shadows. It's really, really cool, actually. And you can see it saves the picture if you want it to. And pretty quickly, it's there and done. And your old one is also still there. That one saves separately. One thing to note is that bottom right-hand corner, I didn't know what it was. And if you click it, I guess it's with Photosphere, but it goes apply tiny planet 20, but on its designed 20. We'll hit apply. And there we go. You can see it's made my picture into a kind of planet, and you can zoom in. Whoops. And you can zoom. It's really cool. It's just a nice little gimmicky feature, but it's cool. I like it. I'm glad Google have tried to do something different, and it has worked really well. You can only upload the Photosphere stuff to Google Now at the moment. I don't think you'll be able to upload it anywhere else. But yeah, let me go ahead and go into the settings. I should have probably done this at the beginning, but I am running 4.2, as you can see there. And if we click it, we get the same old Jelly Bean animation. I'm really happy with what Google has done on Android Jelly Bean 4.2. It's not a big deal. They haven't changed that much. You're not going to cry if you don't get this update. But it's enough. You know, it's a 0.1 update. They went from 4.1 to 4.2, and they've put enough in it to make it a valuable update. It's still quicker, it's faster, it's more fluid. They're definitely going in the right direction with Android. It's getting more and more polished with every version. The next one's probably going to be Key Lime Pie. I'm sure there's loads of stuff that I haven't mentioned under the hood with Android 4.2. One more thing before I finish the video, guys, is that's not available on the Nexus 4 is the on the Nexus 10 tablet with 4.2, you can actually change profiles now. So you can switch between, say you had a family of 4 and your kids wanted to use it, you could set up the master account. They can have their own personal profiles, and you can have different apps, and everything is kept separately. So that's really, really, really nice. And that's a new edition of Android 4.2. So yeah, guys, that's my Android 4.2 review. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys later.